He struck me so hard my ears rang. The music cut off. 68 faces swung in my direction, yet not one person moved. A blazing imprint of his hand seared my cheek like a brand. His fingers twisted in my hair as he hauled me across the marble floor of the banquet hall, the entire room frozen in place. Military uniforms, polished metals, stiff smiles. It was supposed to be my brother's celebration, his promotion, his triumph. Instead, it became my public disgrace. My brother joined the silence with a slow, intentional clap. "You asked for it," he said, wearing the same smirk he inherited from our father. No one stepped in. Not a single person dared. But they didn't know who I really was. By sunrise, I'd made one call. By sundown, their lives were already catching fire. My father, Colonel Riemann, built his legacy on discipline, never respect. A man who confused fear with loyalty and quiet with compliance. My brother worshipped him. I survived him. I was the timid one, the artist, the family failure. He always said I was too gentle for this world. But gentleness isn't fragility. It's patience. And patience, when pushed into a corner, sharpens into precision. I learned early how to observe. How to bide my time. How to let people believe they held power, right up until they were too tangled in their own lies to escape. It began 2 months before that night. I spotted money missing from the trust my mother had left me. My father's signature appeared where it had no right to be. My brother's name showed up on the paperwork for a car that shouldn't exist. I asked once. My father told me to know my place. My brother laughed. "You don't get how family works," he said. He was right. I didn't understand their version of family, one built on control and deception. So I learned their dialect. I followed the money trail, uncovered shell companies, saved incriminating calls. Turns out my father wasn't just a decorated officer, he was a thief. And my brother, his shining protégé, was diverting military contracts into their private coffers. Once I assembled the full picture, I didn't confront them. Not yet. I smiled at dinners. Played the obedient daughter. Let them assume they'd broken me. People like them never see the quiet ones coming. 3 weeks was all it took. One phone call to a journalist I trusted. One folder packed with evidence, bank records, forged signatures, recorded voices. One meeting with a senior investigator who owed me a favor from university. Speed wasn't the weapon. Timing was. The promotion banquet was the perfect stage. All the important figures would be present, officers, politicians, investors, all the men my father spent years impressing. I hadn't intended to destroy the night. He did that the moment he raised his hand. I just made sure the world would be watching when the fallout landed. When his palm cracked against my cheek, something inside me went still. Not fear. Not anger. Just certainty. As he dragged me across the floor, cameras were already flashing. Phones were recording. The military's shining example exposing his rot in crystal clarity. I walked out without a word. Before they could pour the next glass of whiskey, I'd already hit send. The journalist's article was live before midnight. Colonel implicated in corruption scheme. Exclusive evidence leaked. Attached were files, audio clips, transaction trails. My brother's name appeared more times than he'd ever been commended for. I didn't sleep. I didn't need to. By dawn, their phones were buzzing non-stop. By midday, investigators raided the house. By evening, my father's face plastered every news channel. My brother's rank suspended. Their allies vanished into silence. And me? I sat in the garden with a cup of tea, watching the chaos like a film I'd scripted myself. They tried calling. My father left messages. My brother pleaded. I replied to none. For the first time, silence belonged to me. 2 weeks later, my father showed up at my apartment. No uniform, no medals, just a man stripped of his armor. "You destroyed us," he said, voice trembling between fury and surrender. "No," I answered softly. "You did. I only exposed it." He stared at me as if seeing me for the first time. Maybe he was. For years I'd been the fragile one, the silent disgrace. Now I was the echo of every insult he'd used to crush me. "Was it worth it?" he asked. I stood, met his eyes, and said, "Yes. Because now when people hear your name, they'll remember the truth." He left without another word. They lost everything: rank, reputation, influence. My brother fled overseas. My father faded into irrelevance. The house that once thundered with orders now sits empty, probably still reverberating with that single slap. But I'm not haunted by it. I'm reminded. Reminded that pain can become fuel. Silence can become a blade. And patience is the most lethal revenge of all. People imagine vengeance as loud, all fire and fury. But mine was quiet. Just one call, one night, and a lifetime of satisfaction.